Drop in his bag. You in? Empty your pocket. Oh, I don't know. Come on, I mean business. Quiet.
This is my wedding ring. Do I have...
Keep the ring, but not that bracelet.
Thank you.
What's in the three to the motherfucking two and you don't know what I'ma do? That's because you know, but I got the tire, make you feel higher. So say what you want, you motherfucking liar. Don't mean to boast, I don't mean to brag, but I got the grab bag. A funky shit you wish you had, but it's a pace that we gotta pick up. So stick 'em up, stick 'em up, stick 'em up. Hands high, reach for the sky, but don't try to get fly, 'cause it's easy to die. Just like a blink of an eye when a shot rain, boom, bang, rat-a-tat-tat. Watch your back, 'cause I'm coming black, kill that. Get gagged with the money in the bag, pass the sash with the billboard mag. But freeze, feel the breeze, and you sneeze, and you shot. Now you gotta run what you got. Stick 'em up, 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 yeah.
Good evening, everybody. It's your brother VanSilk on the check-in. I see my man Russell's in there. DJ Easy 49, Glamorous, Terry Colorado. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Tonight's guest is DJ Hurricane. Let me see if I can hear myself, because I don't want to be like certain people who go on live and then you can't hear yourself. I gotta go to one of my other pages just to do that. So hold on a second. Which one of my pages do I go to hear myself live? It ain't this page. So how's everybody doing today? And I know I'm live, but where? It's a damn shame. Can y'all hear me? Somebody put a thumb up. You put a thumb up and say you can hear me. I appreciate it. How come I don't see myself on live? And I am live. Let me see what's going on. I have to follow my own self. But you can't do that, Van. You have to be on your other page. You have to follow. Y'all can hear me? Put a thumb up. I'm going live with myself. So tonight's guest is DJ Hurricane. I'd like to give a shout out to my brother. I think he's going in tomorrow on an operation. DJ Hurricane. I think it's going in tomorrow. I mean, not Hurricane. Kango from UTFO. I think he's going in tomorrow for another operation. He's dealing with colon cancer, and I wish my brother well. He's been definitely fighting the fight, you know, and I like to say to everybody, you know, that this interview is supposed to take place yesterday, but I wasn't feeling good because of me dealing with colon cancer as well. And Friday I have to go in for a scan of my abdomen to make sure that nothing has spread, and then Monday back to chemo. And so, my brother Papa Dujam, who's dealing with prostate cancer, and my friend Russell Robinson, who's dealing with some health issue. But we all gonna get through this. We strong. I don't understand why I can't see myself live. Okay, I got it. Now, this is what we're going to do tonight. Tonight's DJ Hurricane, DJ for the Beastie Boys, DJ for RUNDMC. Hurricane's part of the Afros. He is putting out music on his own. And he's a brother that I really wanted to talk to tonight and get some information about him, life after the Beastie Boys, and everything that he's doing with J Hat, which is Jam Master J's app that he has going on. And, you know, if anybody want to donate to this platform, I do accept donations. I'll pin it. It's my Cash App or PayPal. But I'll put the Cash App. I'm trying to move this platform over to YouTube, which I do have a YouTube page, but I need to get the right equipment. and make sure that we can have great conversation. And that's what I do, you know. So right now, I'm waiting for my brother DJ Hurricane to pop in, and hopefully we can have a good conversation. And just text him real quick. Yesterday was a great day in the NBA to see Stephon Wendell Curry pass Ray Allen three-pointer record. That was a great day in basketball, the NBA. Also, I'm still appalled about the murders of a lot of these young rappers out here, and a lot of this stuff needs to stop, you know. And the education value of this is important, and that's why in early January I'm gonna have my brother Russell Robinson, professor. We're gonna do a whole situation on education and reparations. And I'll give you the date for that, and it's going to be a very interesting topic. But to see these young rappers in the old block, the young kid, A-Roy, fight another day, and the 17-year-old kid just shot him because he couldn't take a beat down. And I've called out for WAC 100, and I called out for Big U to please get these young rappers together. Please get them together. And go to Minister Farrakhan like we did back in the days. They need to have a sit-down. Got King Sung Manager on here. Sincere, how you doing? I did a shout out to my brother DJ Junski. This is his shirt, Mixmaster. I'm also rocking the Hip Hop Fundamental. Nadine Muhammad, Larry Jones. I'm waiting for Hurricane, wherever Hurricane is at, for the brother to pop up. And man, we're gonna have a good time tonight. And
Peace.
Who's this right here?
Sincere.
What up, Sincere? I got you on for a quick moment until Hurricane comes in, baby.
No doubt. How you feeling?
I'm okay, brother. How you doing? What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm going to reach out at some time. Maybe you can build with me on my podcast. We'd love to.
Yo, I've seen your podcast, brother, and I definitely want to build with you on that.
Okay.
Listen, brother, that's a plus, man. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like we can't sit up here and act like we in competition.
No.
We in congratulations. You know what I'm saying? I get that word right.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just like on YouTube, you know, you got certain guys that work within each other. They don't be putting stripes on each other like Kwame Brown and self-talk and certain people. Then you got people out here just striking each other, hating on each other. And that's I'm totally against that, man. There's enough room in this world of over 3 billion people that we shouldn't have to be fighting.
Absolutely. We're here to give flowers, you know what I mean? I can remember being a kid watching your show when it came on back in the day. So, you know, we'd love to give flowers to you.
Well, you know what, man?
Rap Mania.
Rap Mania, yes, 1990, man. Wow.
Yeah.
That, and then I did Sisters in the Name of Rap, which is historical and hip-hop. And I just like, how's King Son doing? You still working with him?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're trying to get him out here, get his name back, where it needs to be. So we're looking to do some good things 2022. Hopefully, K Slay will hurry up and drop that verse he laid down. So, you know.
I talked to K Slay tonight.
Okay.
And he's actually mixing it because he called me up. And I'm glad King Son is on it. And he called me up and told me he's mixing it. Somebody's supposed to get their video in real quick, so I already called them. I'm like, yo, man, get the video in so we can get this joint out, man. 200 MCs on here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, unless Tony Starks, you know, unless he gonna do Tony Starks and Ghostface, then 199.
Right. So, yeah, I'll let you do your thing. You got legendary Hurricane on tonight.
Yeah, we did a test run real quick, and I don't know where he's at. And I'm texting him, like, oh, he ain't fall asleep. But we going to keep rolling, baby, until he come over here. That's how I do. We don't stop. We don't stop.
No doubt.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be reaching out to you.
Definitely do. I'm down.
Yeah. Salute.
DJ Big Trav in the place to be. Let me see who else is around till we Hurricane come over here. Let me see if my man Russell is in the building. You know? Me and Hurricane did a test run. I hope he didn't think the test run was an interview. And, you know, like, listen, man, I try to do this in conversation-wise and sit down and we talk. And, you know, I don't even call these interviews, man, because I think interviews are boring. You know, I like having conversation because you don't know everything. You learn things from people. And that way we all can know about each other, you know? And that way there's things that I can learn tonight. And we can learn tonight about Hurricane and BC Boys, RUNDMC. This
Hey,
is
what's up,
my
man?
man, Russell Robinson. What up, Russell?
What's up, big brother? How's everything?
And I did a test run with Hurricane. I wait for him to come in. I hope he ain't fall asleep.
We all over 50, so you know.
Hey, but listen, I told people we're going to have you on in January and give them a quick educational run real quick about the education and reparation real quick of what we're going to be talking about. So this is important.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important that, you know, I mean, we keep talking about the things that's happening now in our society. And we wonder where is this all stemming from? You know, and I think a lot of it stems from a lot of miseducation of our young people. And I'm not talking about this generation. I'm talking about several generations. Now it's gotten to a point where violence, you know, and negativity rules, especially, you know, in our lower income communities. And we got to do something about that before it gets to the point where, you know, we start losing a lot more people. You know, the music industry, your game, changed totally now. You know what I mean? And we see, you know, it's being controlled. It's having rappers who, you know what I mean, speak violence, act like they live violence, and end in a violent end. You know, and this is not what it's about. You know, we're about. I think people forgot the message of Black Power.
Yes.
I mean, the message of Black Power was about, you know, us rebuilding ourselves in a nation that didn't love us, even because we didn't get our reparations. You know, and that's part of, you know, what I, you know, want to talk about on the 11th. But the people forgot, you know, the goal, so to speak. So now, you know what I mean, everybody's just, you know, scrambling, trying to just hustle for money. And they don't care if we build up our neighborhoods, you know. So it's a lot, you know what I mean? But my thesis is based on this topic right here itself. My thesis is based on the miseducation of young Black male, you know. And I was a high school dropout myself. So, you know what I mean, if I can get a PhD, you know, from Bed-Stuy, I know, you know what I mean, we could all make it, you know what I mean? So I use myself as an example, but, you know what I mean, there are many examples, you know what I mean, out there.
Definitely, definitely. And it is January 11th. I had to look up in my schedule for you to remind me because also, you know, it's like I'm setting up like Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. But like I said, we're doing tonight because I wasn't feeling well yesterday. And listen, Hurricane don't come on. We're going to be talking to other people on here. Like, I don't stop, but we were just on here. I don't know where and I don't want to call him while I'm live on the air.
Yeah.
But,
well, can I talk about something to finish it a little bit, what I was talking about?
Sure.
I was looking up some research, and the city of Houston in Texas has 2.5 million people. 1/3 of those people are illiterate. 1/3. And when you come to the Black male, the number goes to like 60 to 70% in that region. So education has taken a backseat to life. You know what I mean? To what people consider life, just getting money and, you know, having something you want. But, you know, that's a serious number right there. And then I bet you if we start scanning the cities and doing the actual census of what's going on in our communities, our kids are being so miseducated that school is just someplace you just park at and go hang out with your friends at. Because there's no education being taught in the classroom because the teachers can't control the environment.
Well, there's nothing being taught no more with the kids these days. I mean, like when I was going to school, we had home economics, iron shop, ceramic shop, you know. Right. You know, we had all that. They took all that stuff out of schools during our era. But these kids today should be learning, like Kwame Brown said, the kids today, they should be teaching them codings. They all have computers.
Right, yeah. They need to learn the computer systems, you know. But we can't become slaves to computer. Remember, Melly Mel said that. Now, the computer has taken away penmanship. The computer has taken away just the actual script, the writing. Some people can't even write their own signature. They don't have a signature. You know, we grew up learning these things, and the computer took all that away. You can just, you know, email or Zoom or whatever they do. But, you know what I mean? It take a lot of way out of the literacy for the kids. You know, if you give a baby at 3 years old a tablet, that baby's going to get used to that tablet. He's not used to learning actually stuff. He can learn through that tablet. And that tablet's only teach him, but so far it's what he needs to know academically and, you know, personally. So that's
and even when my grandkids was young, like baby young, they would look at the icons on the TV and knew what channel it was, like
exactly.
the logo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they knew they played the shows on that channel, right?
They knew what it was.
Yeah.
And you got over 600 channels, and you going through the cartoon section, and they know which one it is.
Exactly. And this is where
read, and they babies.
Melly Mel said it. Learn from the past and work for the future, and don't be a slave to no computer.
And that was in Beat Street, the song.
Yes. And that's one of my favorite songs. I know it word for word. And when I every time I listen to that line right there, I watch how technology. I think about it over the decades. How I watch technology slowly take over everything we do. To me, it started really with the music business and Napster, and I watched them just totally take control. The computer can download music. Back in the day, we went to the store and bought albums and and records and CDs and cassettes, and then all of a sudden you can just go on your computer and get it. That changed.
Well, I like to thank you, Russell, but Hurricane just came in.
All right,
my brother, and we're gonna have a good conversation, my brother DJ Hurricane. He had me over here waiting. What up, brother?
Yo, what's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, you had to go and get your hat on and your sweater and everything. I thought you fell asleep.
Jay's hat.
I'm sitting here with my brother, Professor Russell Robinson, as well. We were speaking, very good brother. But I'm glad you're here. I respect your work.
It's all good.
There was a great player last night that broke the record, 3-point record.
Mm-hmm. They always seem to come to the Garden to do stuff. Like, it's crazy.
Hey, but you know his first name is Wendell.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great people.
No wonder he's great.
Great people.
So good.
Brother, it's a pleasure to have you here. I was just talking to Sincere that manages King's Son, and he was like, I hope K-Slate help and get this joint out. It's a pleasure that you was able to go ahead and run in DMC on that project that K-Slate get ready to drop, man. I really appreciate that one from you.
Yeah, man. I had to make sure, Hollis was represented for the K-Slate,
And brother, this is how I do my interviews, and this is how I do my conversations. Let's start off with where you come from originally, and how where you come from, or what was it like growing up from where you come from?
Well, I came from Hollis Queens, that's where I come from, and Hollis Queens is not the projects. You know what I mean? It was pretty much houses throughout the neighborhood. We all lived in houses, whether it was 2-family houses or whether your family owned a house. We didn't have the project look. So growing up in Hollis was unique for Black families. Most of our parents had jobs and went to work and wanted to see their kids do well. You know what I mean? As far as musically, in my house, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. So as a kid, my older sister always had DJ equipment in the house. So my house was like the party house for the older people to come party at the house. And in the backyard, my sister wasn't a hip-hop DJ, but she was a good DJ that knew how to blend records very well. And she had all the records. And, this was like early 70s. I was just a really young kid. And I used to just sit back and observe it all and let it soak in. And my introduction to hip-hop, well, the first guy I heard rap was DJ Hollywood. I heard him rap over a cassette tape. And, I enjoyed listening to him rap. But my first hip-hop cassette, I would say, was the Furious 4. Which was given, there was the Furious 4, and the tape was given to me by a family member who used to always go to the Bronx and Harlem, and he would come back with all kinds of different styles, and he had this tape, and he played it for me. When he played it for me, I really attached myself to it, and he gave it to me, and as he gave it to me, I listened to it every day, and I learned word for word everything they were saying, and how the DJ would flash, would scratch it on beat. And from that cassette, I wound up getting a Funky 4 cassette. And from there, I started writing my own lyrics. You know, I learned how to write just listening to them, how they used to always let the last word be the rhyme. So I started writing my own lyrics and started dating it. I still have my first rhyme book.
Yeah, you told me about your book now. You told me
So
about
if anybody ever doubt my history, I got my book. I used to date my lyrics on every page that I wrote. So I still have that. And once I start doing that, then my next mission was to find somebody that was DJing like Flash, like cutting these break beats that I never heard before. So I went around Queens and used to go to these block parties and also park jams, and I seen a lot of, you know, Queens was known for dope sound systems. So I would see the Disco Twins play,
Cypher Sound.
Infinity Machine, Cypher Sound, Infinity Machine, right? Master Sound.
King Charles out there, Long Island, borderline Queens.
Yeah, borderline Queens, you know. But I never could find nobody that was actually scratching that small part of a break beat so you can actually rap to it. Everybody was playing music, but nobody was scratching it at that time.
Right.
Until I actually saw Davey D. I saw Davey D DJ inside of a school jam on 25th Street in Hollis. And he was playing break beats I had never heard on the cassette tape that I had of the Furious 4 and the Funky 4. He was playing all kind of stuff. I was like, yo, I gotta meet this guy. And I happened to know his younger brother, Tommy T, who was also into hip hop. He liked the bebop portion of it. So Tommy heard me and my partner Cool T, who was a part of Afros later on. He heard me, Cool T, and another part of mine named Butterfly rhyming in the park. And he said, yo, y'all got to come meet my brother Davey. So we walked down to Dave's house, went to Dave's basement. And, you know, we started rhyming for Dave. And Dave started playing beats, scratching beats, whatever. And he liked us a lot. So then he said, yo, you guys going to be down with my crew, Solo Sounds.
I was going to ask about Solo Sound, but go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, you know, we got down, became Solo Sounds. And once we became Solo Sounds, we started doing parties locally. We started hitting the block parties. We started hitting the park jams. Then we went into the clubs. Then we started hitting like Connecticut. And then from there, I'm going to high school now. So I met a guy by the name of Mark, who's the 45 King.
Wow.
So when I met Mark lived about 3 blocks from Davey. Mark stayed at his dad's house. So Mark was telling me that he DJ and everything. And, you know, he used to come to the Solo Sound jams and he used to see us rock. And he used to always say, yo, y'all the only guys in Queens that's doing it like in the Bronx. Yo, I got to get down with y'all. So I went to Mark's house and his father's house, and he took me up to the attic. And Mark had 2 little turntables. And in these 2 little plastic turntables, he was spinning back 45s. I had never seen that before. I mean, he literally was spinning it back real fast.
Now, this was Mark living in Queens or living in Jersey?
He was living in Queens, 3 blocks from Davey. He said he
used to live in the Bronx.
Yeah, he's from the Bronx.
He used to be a record boy for the Funky 4.
Right, exactly. But he moved in with his dad for a short period of time in Queens. And his dad happened to live on a corner block, just like 2 blocks from Davey.
Wow. And then at the end of the day, he ended up living out East Orange, New Jersey, right around the corner.
Right.
Barn Mason, God rest his soul. You know, but Mark was ahead of his time.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes, he was. Definitely was. Definitely. So Mark wound up getting down with us for a short period of time. And then Curtis Blow used to always come to our shows a lot. And he see how we be rocking. So then, you know, at the time, Run was a solo MC. He was DJ Run, son of Curtis Blow.
Exactly.
And at that time, DMC wasn't really in the parks yet and rocking like that. DMC was more of a bystander. You know what I'm saying? So Run had a situation where he couldn't go on tour with Curtis. So Curtis came over to Solo Sounds and took Davey D on tour. So once he took Davey on tour, Solo Sounds was kind of stuck because Davey had all the equipment. Davey was the DJ. You know, And then he got down with Curtis, which made solo sounds not be able to do that many shows as we usually was doing in the summertime.
Well, this was the time. Remember now, Russell was doing a lot of college parties because they went to college together. But I also want to clear up something that a lot of people still don't understand today. And I'm from the Bronx. Well, like I said, my first apartment was on Arlington Terrace on Sumter Boulevard in Queens back in '77.
Right.
There was a lot of things going on in the Bronx, in the streets, just as well there was going on in Queens, in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, in Mount Vernon, in Yonkers. Everywhere there was always block parties. This whole hip-hop thing became a New York thing, and it spread in between the 5 boroughs. And I want people to please understand that a lot of the groups that came that was doing the same thing we was doing in the Bronx after they caught on, and they manifest to who was going to be good. Like, you know, you had Astoria, you had Corona, you got Jamaica, you got Hollis, you got Laurelton, you got all these factions of Queens.
Right.
You know, and even though whatever started the Bronx it's in Queens, and look at the product that came out of Queens. You know, RUNDMC, you know, LL Cool J. I mean, you just go down the list of what came out of
I mean, yeah, I mean, it had to leave the Bronx, because if it didn't leave the Bronx, it'd have died in the Bronx.
Exactly. And
you know what I'm saying? So it had to spread, because if it had stayed there, it wouldn't have lasted. You know what I mean? You need a different flavor to come in. And not only that, a lot of cats that was rhyming in the parks and in the clubs didn't know how to make records.
And
so
that is a true statement, because I was having a conversation with Shaw Rock the other day in Scorpio. I said, listen, for the first records that was recorded, we had to go to Harlem. Enjoy was in Harlem. Johnny Solo and Wax It Did Grin with the Theodore was in Harlem. Paul Winley was in Harlem. Peter Brown was in Harlem. So those were Harlem-based labels. Jack Taylor owned Harlem World when they had Taster Records, Harlem. The Leams, Neo Records, Harlem. We didn't have no Bronx record label. Now, even though Arthur Armstrong put out the Cold Crush Brothers on his label, and Vincent Davis came on later on with Entertainment, but then we had B-Boy Records with Bill Camaro and them. But in the beginning, it was that. But then, again, Queens is more closer to the Bronx than Brooklyn, because Brooklyn has a whole different dress appeal. You know, and remember, when you said with the private homes in the 70s, a lot of people, families who was working their way out the projects, late 70s, they either went to Queens or they went to Co-op City.
Right.
You know? And a lot of people went to Queens because Queens was just that new place. It wasn't Levittown, but it was, you go to Jamaica, Queens. You know, you go to Queens. You know, we got the family homes out there. So I want to bring people in to understand, let's stop the whole thing of the Bronx. Listen, we all, at a certain point, articulated a whole lot when you had David DMX with what he's done and what he brought to the table. And when you have Larry Smith, the great producer, the sound that he brought, you know, rest in soul, Larry, you know, even what Jam Master Jay did as a DJ, you know, he's no longer here. You know, I mean, Paul C., you know, that did, you know, Super Lover C and all those guys, no longer here. And then as you come along, which a lot of people don't know that you're an MC more than a DJ.
Yeah, actually, I was writing raps before I started DJing. So, you know, I didn't get the name, the title, actually DJ Hurricane, until I started DJing for the Beastie Boys. I knew how to DJ once I always knew how to DJ watching my sisters DJ and blending the music. And then I learned how to scratch watching Davey D. See, nobody actually taught me how to do it. I was pretty good at just looking and catching on. And James Brown, Funky Drummer, that record showed me how to actually scratch on beat. So when I got with Davey, Davey used to always come up with ideas and routines. So that thing you see everybody do when they call it the merry-go-round.
Right.
Davey D was the first person that I know that showed me the merry-go-round back in the 70s.
Right.
I've never seen nobody do that before. And then,
let me just hold this right, and I don't want nobody to get mad at you. Oh, well, you know, Kool Herc don't get. Listen, y'all got to understand what this man just said. What he saw from his timeline and his life, because he's younger than what happened back in 73, 74, 75, 76. He's younger. And so y'all got to we got to stop nitpicking when people say things. When he see what Davey D did first, we
right.
Respect that. That's the point I want to make.
Yeah, and not only did I see, you know, was a part of him doing that, even when the 80s came around, right? And we started going on tour, I still didn't see nobody doing that routine. Me and Davey did that routine every day on tour, on the Together Forever tour with Run DMC, Beastie Boys, and Davey D. We did that routine in every city, in every country. And every time we did that routine, everybody was amazed. So we definitely took that routine all around the world. Because on that tour, I was with all three groups. When Davey D went on, I'd get on and rap for Dave and also scratch with him. Beastie Boys went on stage. I got on DJ for them and also rap with them. You know, Run DMC went on stage. You know, I was the guy on the side of the stage, the arms cold, the girls about. So I was working with all three groups at the time.
And at one point, I used to mix up with Sean Peckish. You know Sean, right?
Yeah, I know Sean.
And then another time, I mixed it with Bimmy. I like that. Is that Bimmy?
Well, you know, Bim is fan.
But the whole point I'm trying to say is, and I gotta give respect out to Lance, the Furtado brothers, and you know, with a lot of stuff they used to do in Baisley Park with the basketball projects, with the basketball tournaments in summertime, and Supreme and all of them.
Right.
I just want to say, because as I was looking through your resume, you had a few albums out, and you had some with you featured the Beastie Boys. Like right. Who does that? Like, how, you know, like
yeah.
Where does that happen at? You know what I'm saying?
Right. See, when I got the Beastie Boys, they knew I knew how to rap and DJ at the time, because when they was opening up for Run DMC, you know, at sound check, me and JB messing around with the turntables, and I'd be on the mic rapping, you know what I mean? And then don't forget, I also did the record with Davey D, Davy's Ride, which I'm rapping on, 4 or 5 songs on that album.
Wow.
So, yeah, Davy's Ride, I'm rapping on 4 or 5 songs on that album.
Now,
so I was good. Yeah.
Who's the girl on Davey D? You are the best. Who's that?
That's she's actually from London.
Okay.
Davey
that's probably the same girl that was on the Phase 2 in them record, down the Celluloid, Sean's the Beat. Is that her?
I don't think so.
The Fab Five Freddy song?
I don't think so, because she was real low key.
I think
she wasn't. She used to date Dave back in the days. I can't think of her name.
I think that's the same girl that was on the back of Fab Five Freddy B side of his record on Celluloid. I think that's the same girl.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so, but
here's a question I want to ask. You've been out on tour in arenas.
Right.
You've been on tour with Run DMC, and you've been on tour with the Beastie Boys. When you go on tour with the Beastie Boys, what is the difference when you go on a tour with the Beastie Boys in the setup, and then you go on tour with Run DMC in the setup? What's the difference? What's the crowd? What's the difference? Because I know you know there's a difference.
Well, back then the difference was, you know, Run DMC was more my type, you know, Adidas right. Suit, stay fly, just be fly, and just be cool as ever. You know, then when you switch over to the B-Boys, everything's wild. Like, everything just turned up 3,000 degrees. I'm talking about the early days. You know, there's beer all over the place. There's food fights in the dressing room. There's tearing up the dressing room. It's just like a nonstop party twist, no chill.
Well, okay, this is my point. I know there's a lot of tours that the Beastie Boys went on that Run DMC was on, even though Run DMC music transcended to that side. But when you went to the festivals, hard rock type festivals, and you, the only black guy among the Beastie Boys and their whole entourage, that's the feel. What was it like? I'm over here this time, I gotta be this way, and then when I come out to running them, it's on this side. That's the feeling I'm trying to get from you. Like,
oh yeah. Oh, that was definitely a culture shock. You know what I'm saying? Because where I grew up at, we only had one white family one white dude that hung around us. His name was Danny Whiteboy, and he had a sister named Laura. And those were the only white people that hung around us. So, you know, when I got with the Beastie Boys, it was like a culture shock. Like, all of a sudden I'm going to these shows and I'm like, almost the only, you know, the road manager was black, Ron Bird. He would be on the road with me. And Big Mookie, who passed away, he would be on the road with me. But other than that, you know, everybody was white. So it was definitely a culture shock for me.
A learning experience?
Absolutely a learning experience. No question. Definitely something that definitely needs to be told. Definitely not easy to do either.
And then when you go out with Run DMC and sometimes Run DMC and BC Boys is out, I mean, it's almost like the same. And Run DMC is Run DMC. It's nothing you can say. I mean, BC Boys, Paul Revere, all that. But then you got a young kid like LL. You been out with LL?
Absolutely, yeah. LL was
what's it like being out with LL?
Well, we toured together on the Raising Hell tour, which was the first actual hip hop tour where a rap group went on tour after the name of their album,
right?
Which was the Raising Hell tour.
Right.
It hadn't been done like that. There was Run DMC, Houdini, LL, Beastie Boys, and this was LL's first major tour. So you know, LL was you know, he's from Queens. He's from Farmers Boulevard, was just like Hollis Boulevard. It's like a mile away, pretty much. So less than a mile, actually. LL was just always an incredible MC and always aggressive when it came down to rapping on that mic. Like, he grabbed that mic and he meant to kill everybody. You know what I mean? And when L was coming up on the Raising Hell tour, Run, who was also competitive, you knew that LL would be a problem.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, they used to have minor little clashes and stuff like that. But LL was always incredible and aggressive on the mic, just a beast.
Question. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Beastie Boys, when they got inducted, were you inducted? Did you get a trophy too?
Well, when they got inducted, at first, they didn't give me a trophy. Mm-hmm. Shortly after, Shelby from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
We know Shelby, yes.
She's incredible. She sent me my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame jacket.
And did she have you sign the thing as well? Your signature so you could go on the thing as well?
I was the first one to sign the wall when you walk inside the artist entrance.
Right.
It's an artist entrance that you come into, and the wall was straight, just plain. And as I was walking, I said, "Can I sign this wall?" And she said, "No one signed that wall." I said, "I want to be the first one." When I signed that wall, the next time I came back,
everybody's signature on it.
Everybody's signatures on it. Kim Kardashian signed next to me like it's loaded now. And I was the first one to sign that wall.
Well, you know what? That's great. And this is VanSilk. Let's talk with VanSilk. And I'm here tonight with the legendary DJ Hurricane. And we got to give a shout out to Shelby at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because anything that's wrong, Shelby does come to the table and she does help.
She does come. Yo, she's such an incredible, and because, you know, a lot of people don't understand that if you're not hip hop, you don't understand how important the DJ was to the hip hop group.
Right.
In the early days. You know what I'm saying? The DJ was just as important as the actual rapper when hip hop first started back then. So, you know.
And when I look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then, you know, I look at the people that's in now, and they changed the rules a little. They changed the rules this year.
They did, okay.
Yeah. For the LL situation, and what's his name? Oh God, what's the artist that got in there? The other art, but there's a lot of artists that's still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I sit up here and I look at these posts on Facebook about so and so should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and this one should be. And I'm like, listen, this is not no rap award, okay? This is about the impact of what the group of music has done globally and
globally
sending today.
Right. Globally.
Now for me, I still say the Sugar Hill Gang should be in there because their record still is the popular record. They still working. And I say Curtis Blow. That's for me.
Right.
I don't know for you who you think.
Well, I would definitely say Curtis Blow. Curtis Blow, the first rapper to sign with a major label, first rapper to go gold. I would definitely say Curtis Blow. And he's made albums. He's made albums.
And
you know what I mean?
Two of his songs were we covered Basketball and If I Rule the World.
Exactly.
So over, and I just think Curtis Blow's being overlooked.
Yeah, but the only reason why he's being overlooked because there's people in the position at the Rock Hall that don't really know hip hop like that. You know, but DMC actually is on the board now, so you know, I'm pretty sure DMC is going to say some things.
Thank you to DMC. I love that, brother. Because we need these institutions, even the Smithsonian Institute and all these museums that want to cater to like you. We're here. You can look at us. We're alive. You know, all these professors writing theses and all that. Listen, no. We here. Talk to us. Give us a chat so we can help you.
Right.
Call me and trying to pick me out of the information. Then you like they got some of my flyers that they bought from Sotheby's down in the Smithsonian Institute down in DC. And I'm talking to the girl and she's asking me about these flyers. And it was a convention flyer, MC convention flyer, that one of the shows that me and AJ did. And she's asking me about all the participating groups that we done typed out and put, you know. Do you know what this? Remember this group? Listen, I don't know what this group is. They were like Mickey Mouse groups that we put in the contest. I don't know the members' name. They never made it.
Right.
You know, and like I'm not gonna sit up here and break down a flyer of Mickey Mouse MCs. I mean, at a point, I told AJ, God rest his soul, we got to take Furious 5 and we got to take Funky 4 off the MC convention flyer because they were no longer here. They was no longer here, and it make no sense to keep putting the name on. And then we started putting RUNDMC name on there. Cold Crush, fantastic. RUNDMC, Houdini. You know, even though we know that it wasn't going to really get to the contest, Cold Crush, fantastic did. But the point was, you know, me and AJ created that list after Ray Chandler had the Mike and Dave, and man, did like, you know, we just started updating the list and we started putting different groups in. But when I look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you know, like a lot of people say, well, you know, KRS One should be in there, or they need to put Rakim, or they need to put Ultramagnetic. I'm like, listen. Let me explain this to y'all again. This is not no rap awards. This is not no rap thing here.
Right.
And just like with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, people don't understand you don't get inducted into museums.
Right.
You know, so there's no such thing as a museum inducting you.
Inducted, right. Museums, artifacts. You have to give me your stuff so people can look at it.
Right. And yes, I think there's going to be an honorary thing with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, but I look at people, now people don't understand, you know, rock and roll was our music.
Yeah.
They gave us, if you go back to the 60s, they gave us rhythm and blues magazines, then they changed it to the soul charts. And it's like, okay. And then they took the pop charts. They took the rock and roll. And that's why a lot of people didn't understand 30 years ago when Little Richard used to always be at the Grammys talking about, I'm the architect of rock and roll. Why don't you disrespect me? And
right.
I understand why he kept doing it. And if you go back and look at the history, there's a story that James Brown for 2 weeks went out on the road because Little Richard had got his record deal. And back then, they didn't know what these artists looked like.
Right.
Brown went out for 2 weeks as Little Richard.
Right. They don't know no better.
But they didn't know what the artists looked like because, you know, back then, you know, you playing the Chitlin circuit and all that, you know, like boom, boom, boom. So James Brown did Little Richard songs and he put his style to it. But getting back to you, another thing I want to touch on, I was kind of upset with Russell when he started Rush Associated labels.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had a label. You know, like I'm looking at everybody getting a label. Didn't the Afros have a label?
No. We didn't have a label. It was actually Jam Master Jay's label.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we was the Afros signed to Jay.
And that's another group you was part of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, damn, how many hats you wearing?
Man, I had the Davy D hat, then I had to put on the Afros hat, then I put on the Beastie Boys hat, then I put on my solo hat. So,
I mean, you know, Russell at one point when he was down on Broadway and Hottie was working for him, had came to me like, "Yo, man, why don't we become partners?" And I didn't understand. I really didn't understand what he was where he was going with it, because I was so busy wanting to get parties, and he had an office, and Hottie Smith was his first secretary. And then the next thing I know, Andre Harrell started working for him when he was on Broadway, the first office they had. But my whole thing comes down to understand I wanted the label, not, you know, I think Ed Lover had a label. Russell?
No.
So, there was a lot of labels given out.
Yeah, it was some labels given out.
So, but it is what it is. What was it like being with the Afro? Because it seemed like Jam Master Jay with the whole thing. I seen y'all come on stage at Soul Train with the Afros. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, well, you know, the Afros was actually my partner Cool T from the Afros was actually my partner from Solo Sounds. Okay. So when we first signed to Jay's label, the Afros wasn't going to be our name. We was going to be called the Untouchables. You know what I mean? That was going to be our name. So when you listen to the album of the Afros, it's like 3 cuts on there that's totally different than the rest of the cuts on the album. That's the way we were going. But then along the way, you know, we were so much into these black exploitation movies and stuff like that, you know, we started goofing around with Afros and in that time period, and we were just like, yo, we're going to just change our name to the Afros. And Russell loved it, and Jay was crazy about it. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, I'm gonna go with the flow. Let's do it. And that's how that came about. And actually, we had the biggest record that summer. Feel It was the biggest song, hip-hop song that summer. That was a big record.
And it looked like your guy was having fun over there, because I remember one night Russell Simmons went in the studio and made a record called Cold Rock Stuff, like just talking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like Russell.
We had a lot of fun.
Huh?
It was a lot of fun. We definitely a lot of fun.
And I used to go out to the studio out in Queens, Ron Miller, Romel's studio. You ever been to Ron Miller's studio?
I'm not sure.
Ron produced that record, I'll Do Anything For You. That's one record he produced. Yeah. But he lived out in Jamaica, Queens, and me and Mel used to go out there to his crib. He had a studio down in the basement of his crib. And we'll be there all night, man. Like, that's where we cut the Police Academy 6-track at.
Wow.
And Mel did out there in Queens. But I always enjoyed going out to Queens. I used to go to Corey. They used to work with Prince Marky D. Marky rest his soul. Corey, the producer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I used to climb up the Corey stairs up into his attic. He was another one in the attic.
Yeah, you either was in the attic or you was in the basement. You wasn't in between.
No, his studio was in his attic.
That's what I'm saying. You either was in the attic or you was in the basement.
In the basement. Oh, okay. Definitely wasn't in between the living room and none of that stuff.
Yeah, he was upstairs or downstairs.
Yeah, and he became great, Corey. He became a big producer.
Right.
You know, so I mean, Queens had definitely put in a lot of work when it comes to the culture of hip hop. And I remember we used to do parties at Olympia Palace and Martin Luther King High School and all that. And I did the one party at Jamaica Roller Dome.
Olympia Palace was incredible. Fantasia.
Yes.
Fantasia. Then we had another one called the Fog House, which the Fog House was not healthy. I would tell you, I was a kid when the Fog House opened. And they used to have these smoke machines. You know, smoke machines.
Yes.
And when you walk into the Fog House, all they had was smoke machines just constantly running. So when you walking in there, it's like you walking through all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? You coughing, and it was just not healthy, man. But it was called the Fog House, and they just kept the smoke machines running.
And y'all had Encore, which changed its name a few times as well.
Yeah.
Patience, and then you still had the Armory.
Yep, the Armory.
Then the Jamaica Roller Dome, which I did a party
Yep.
night, and that's the night that the 40 Projects and something Boulevard and all they wanted to have they shit in there that night and shot the shit up.
And we had a spot on Hollis called Night Fever.
Really?
Yeah. Curtis Blow would come perform there. Russell throw parties there called Night Fever. I still have a couple of flyers from that.
You still, yeah, well, you know Pete gonna talk to you anyway. He's like, I gotta call
He ain't never hit me, so I'm here.
Well, he's been on the phone all day. But he said he's definitely gonna call you. But it's like we going through all this stuff in hip hop. Y'all have to excuse me with the scratching because that's the chemo just really got me tore up, and I don't put the cream on.
Man, I'm scratching too, and I ain't doing chemo, so man, you ain't got to explain that.
You know, and Jay's Hat, that's a new app.
Yeah, new app, free app, 24 hours, 7 days a week, classic hip hop, clean versions only. I do my show 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day, except for Saturday and Sunday, Monday through Friday. My man DJ Rip does a show on Friday, 8 to 9. Ed OG does a show on Wednesday, 3 to 4. And we got a couple of more people that's going to get down and add some more shows on it. Hopefully it just keeps growing. So, you know, it's a free app. So if you're in the shower, you want to listen to some hip-hop, classic hip-hop, just turn on your app. You're in the kitchen, just turn on the app. And you can play it in front of your kids because it's all clean versions. So
now, and this is what I downloaded it, but I have to get a new phone because I need more space. I have to get a new iPad. I need more gigabytes. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm deleting stuff and it's still popping back up because I forgot to cut the cloud off. And I want y'all to support J Hat just like you support Rock the Bells.
Right, no doubt.
Because and then what and Chuck D has his station with everything with Wildman Steve and everybody over there. It's like, listen. It's free to download the app.
Absolutely.
And they're always talking about, yo, you know, they never look out for us. We're not even looking out for us.
Right.
Like, and what I want to do is help you promote it in the beginning of the year, the lineup and everything. Like, listen, you know, like when I go and look at Lil Boosie, Lil Durk, and the Baby, you know, these guys look out for each other.
Yeah.
They take care of each other. We can't even sit up here like, oh no, let me promote my man J App Hurricane, or let me do this, let me do that, or let me share this. It's like it's called like some people just don't. I'm put it to you this way. Some people just don't know when to give it up. And like,
you know, some people just still think they're in competition. You know, that's the New York way of hip hop. You know, everybody was so competitive against each other instead of trying to help each other. And Cass is still in that competition mode instead of trying to help. You know, you trying to compete. It ain't always competing. You can always help and grow together.
And my thing is like this. I can't tell a person what to do. If you want to be on the mic at 60, so be it. I was talking to little Troy the other night. I said, listen, man, I done made money. I done did all this. I'm 55. I'm done. He said, no, ain't nothing I can say a little kid want to hear. And ain't like nobody our age is buying our music, going to buy the music. Let's keep it real.
Right.
Let's keep it real. I mean, everybody's been home for last year. You could have been wrote books, everything. Look what you still move around. You still do things. You sit up here and create the app. I don't know how long it took you to do the app, but you created it. You know, you work and you do your thing. And it seemed like somebody always wants you to for them to give them money. Why not create something to where you can earn money from your product that somebody might want to buy from you or purchase?
Right.
That's my mentality when I look
right.
at it like that. And
yeah, that's a fact. You know,
I don't get to listen to a lot of stuff music-wise on the radio, but my whole point is it's there. J Hat is there, just like Rock the Bells is there, and just like Chuck D platform is there. Okay,
right?
Why not? Follow.
All you gotta do is turn it on. Yeah. It's not. You don't have to do much. You can download the app. It's free. So there you go with that. You know, LL's join us for free. So if you want to listen to some classic hip hop, it's there for you. Why not support everybody?
And the crazy part of it is you just named the people that got time on your show. And it's
Right.
like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
What the problem is, Hurricane?
What's that?
We got so many pioneers and legends because that's not their spot. They're not in that spot, so they just don't want nothing to do with it.
Right. Right.
You know, like when Shaw Rock and Kaz got that spot on Rock the Bell, I could just imagine some of the people that might have called up LL like, yo, man, what about me?
Right. Right.
Dog.
You know,
You build your foundation, you move around. You when you're coming back to New York or you going to New York to do this and do that. Here's one thing I want to make sure I touch on, and I'm not going to, before we get out of here, the whole Jam Master Jay Foundation.
right.
You work with the family. I want people to please understand what that's all about.
Yeah, well, you know, we raise money for the foundation and we buy instruments for schools that can't afford instruments for their students. So we'll find a school in Queens or a school someplace and we'll say, hey, we're going to come in and buy new instruments for the kids to learn how to play. So that's where the money goes. It goes to the kids.
But it's sad that our people just don't get it. You know?
Man. You know, you go to those white area schools, man. The schools are so fixed up. Everything is so, you know, they're always investing in the school. You know, but when you go to the black schools, they don't invest in our schools. So we got to help our schools out ourselves if we can. If we're in position to help the schools out, then, you know, we should definitely help the kids out because, you know, kids need help, you know, to grow. They can't just do it on their own.
Yeah, but I feel like nobody want to get on. Everybody want to get on the bandwagon when the wagon got 4 wheels. They don't want to get on when it got 1 wheel. When I look at Deion Sanders and what he did with Jackson State this year,
right?
This found out today is a kid that was committed to Florida State, decommitted,
I've seen that.
Go to Jackson State.
I've seen that.
That would make me happy.
And you know, ever since the NCAA gave the kids the right to make money off their own likeness,
right?
They don't need the big schools no more. Like that number one kid, I forget his name, that number one recruit or what have you. He don't need the big school no more. He can go out and get his own endorsements and make his own money.
Hey, my man Russell, you forgot to clip yourself out.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, but I like to just, you know, piggyback off what we always talking about and say that, you know, I mean, education is the key. You know, I mean, to, you know, us making sure that these kids move forward, you know, in the next generation, because the industry change, everything's changing. It's such a rapid pace. You know, we have to really stay on top of it. And I agree, you know, with the Jam Master Jay Foundation. In fact, I met Jam Master Jay brother. It had to be a decade ago, and he was we were at an event, and he gave me his card. And I have every card I get, I save. Every card I ever get, I save.
And Russell was at Phil Dickinson out in Jersey, and he brought some of the pioneers over to meet about 40 of the kids that he was mentoring. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay.
He did this out of his pocket. You know, we had Coco Rock and Brother
like Phil Dickinson, we call it the elements of hip hop. And what we wanted to do was actually get them an understanding of what they learned and what the culture they're living in. They're living in the hip hop culture, but they don't know its origins. So thanks to you, VanSilk, you know, we put all that together, man. And that was two years in a row. We had a great events. We had Ralph McDaniel, Cool Kyle, DJ Kevy Kev,
the late Ready Red.
Ready Red, yes, Ready Red. You know, it was, that was a night to remember. You know, and those were nice to remember. And we like to say, you know, that hip hop is, you know, the culture. So let's make hip hop the educator too. You know,
exactly, and that's what we're gonna be talking about on January 11th.
Yes, definitely. My bad for interrupting for a second there. You know, I love education. You know what I mean? This, you know, I believe in it. You know what I mean? I believe it works because it worked for me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yep. So anyway, I'm listening. Keep on listening.
Okay,
yep.
Brother. All right. And so, my whole thing is, again, I got into a little tit for tat on Facebook today because some guy made a post about Meek Mill's donating $500,000 to give out stuff. And I just put, wow, but still haven't received his royalties. The whole boy gonna come back 6 o'clock this morning. Yo, man, You should just be happy. I said, listen, when you do charity, why people got to put numbers to it? Just do it.
Right.
I said, okay, so if he donates 500,000, what the next guy's supposed to do? Donate $1 million like it's a contest?
Right. Right. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, some people are made different. You know, some people want everybody to know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's been plenty of times where I may see a bum on the street and give him some money. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna let you record me giving him the money. You know, because I'm not doing it for you to see. I'm doing it out of my heart. You know, some people just do different. Like they want you to know what they're doing when they do good for others.
It's just like Michael Jordan is not on social media. And for years, he's been donating charity-wise. But he don't talk about it. Open up wings in hospitals, send kids to college. You got the most black executives at Nike. You own the Charlotte Bobcats. How many jobs you got? He don't talk about it. He don't brag about it. Because if you're going to do something, do it. Just like you sitting up here right now and your man is in distress and need money. And you're like, listen, man, I'm just going to give you the money. Don't worry about giving it back to me. Pay your bills. But then you go online and talk about what you just did.
Right. That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
So that means if there ain't nothing against Meek Mills. So if you donate $500,000, that means somebody wanted to donate $1,000, their money ain't good. Because the black people have a mentality like, yo, I got to outdo him or this. Listen, I'm donating to charity. Want to say we got enough to give 1,000 kids or 2,000 kids. Why those got to be a dollar amount? And I don't understand it. You know, I really don't.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Some people think different.
You know, Glenn Toby, Sweetie G from Queens. You know,
that's my guy.
And you know, I didn't know he was homeless back in the days when we was parties, but he started the Book Bank Foundation almost 25, 30 years ago. And you know, LL supported early Bernard Hopkins, and he has given back to the communities. Block cleanup in Georgia, and he don't brag about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've joined him before, with his homeless run. I've helped out, but again, I don't get on social media talking about it like that. But I've definitely helped Sweetie G out before. You know, he's a good guy of mine. Go back in the days of that Queens hip hop. You know.
Yeah, all I'm just saying is like if you're gonna do something no harm, just do it. Okay. When Rocky from the Universal Hip Hop Museum said, "Listen, man, all it takes is $1, $2, $3, whatever." People don't understand that this is something for everybody that's going to be here. When you go, I'm going to be going, you're going to be going. It's our great-grandkids is going to say, that's my great-grandfather. You
right.
We most of us are 60 over. So that's basically down there almost like our senior citizen home. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to say is, just because he got to raise money from outside people, because you can't invest into the Universal Hip Hop Museum. You only could do donation. That belongs to the community. What is $1, $3, $5 donation to something that everybody's involved in? Yeah, you got Microsoft donated money. This person did that, but we still need functioning money in the next 2 years. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I've personally donated some money to the Universal Hip Hop Hall of Fame. I never said it, but I've donated, you know, not a lot of money like that. But I've donated.
Which one, the Hip Hop Universal Hip Hop Museum or the Hall of Fame? The other thing that they was doing, the Hall of Fame.
I'm talking about the one that Rocky's doing, the Universal
Hip Hop Museum, right? But the point is, the money is being. People don't understand. And I said this to Rocky. People think Rocky can just the money coming and Rocky can just go and just take the money and put in his pocket. No,
you can't do that.
He can't.
Can't do that.
I had somebody that wanted to donate money and give it to him. Like, nah, just write out a check.
Right.
Because you playing with a nonprofit organization in New York State. You mess around and mess with them funds, you will be going to jail.
Oh yeah, they coming for you.
But yes, I appreciate this conversation we had tonight. And
Oh yeah, we just scratched the surface. We ain't even get too
yo,
deep.
listen, you know what? We are going to get into it, but I just wanted to scratch the surface. But I'm starting to get a little weak and low energy because I'm.
Okay, well, definitely take it easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. God willing, I ain't going nowhere. So me and you always in contact, so we can always do it again. No
Oh no, we
problem.
definitely going to do it again because I'm going to have a whole different setup when we do it again. Actually,
Okay.
I'm working on a podcast, and it's going to be coming out of Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
I think it's going to be taped out here. So when you're in Queens, we can be sitting across from each other.
Oh yeah.
And if we still got to wear these things across our face, I got a whole bunch of them,
Nah.
mask and everything. And people can follow you on Instagram as well as Facebook, right? I'm gonna tap
Oh yeah.
plug in there as well.
No doubt.
Any new music projects, like when DJ side come in, or anything product wise, merchandise wise?
Yeah, I just did this little cartoon, funny style rap for Adult Swim.
Really?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And I'm working on my niece, who's a rapper, working on her stuff, and also working with my nephew as well. Other than that, I'm doing Jay's Hat Radio, writing a book, also working on a TV show. A lot of things going on.
I know, brother. You stay. So you got that man cave with all your stuff in there.
Yeah, a lot of things going on.
Okay.
I got my own NFT metaverse about to happen next year.
Really?
So it's a lot of things going on.
Yeah. Speaking. Yeah. We don't want to go too deep about NFTs.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it's funny how Tory Lanez, he did $1 million in his NFT.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just sold his album through the NFTs.
Wow. It's crazy. Well, I like to say thank you to my brother DJ Hurricane, my man Russell Robinson.
Thanks.
Also came in earlier before you came on, King Sun Manager Sincere. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us in tonight, and I will come back with a part 2 with Hurricane because I know my man Pete Nice wanted to get in on some things and topics. I know we're going to be doing Cool Keith coming up soon. I'm definitely talking to my man Shabazz that used to be at Don Diva, and he went and started As Is. So he the one who did the original Larry Hoover story and all that. I talked to him yesterday. He's in Chicago. And, you know, talking to Rocky on Saturday, talking to Cal, the writer at Hip Hop DX on next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
And
Got a good lineup.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to make it interesting.
Cool. I'll tune in. I'll definitely tune in, man. You make sure you get some rest, man. Rest up to stay strong.
Brother, I tried, brother, and I appreciate all the love and the help. And I'd like to say thank you to DJ Hurricane. And this is VanSilk. Let's talk with VanSilk. And
Word.
upload it tonight on Facebook as well. And I'm going to do the proper tags information. Thank you, everybody. And
Word up.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Peace.
Peace.